Hello, and welcome to People Keep Dying, the podcast where we talk about how people die. I'm your host, Stephanie.
And I'm your host, Angela.
That's my other host, Angela. My other host. I don't have another host. It's just Stephanie and Angela. And every week we come here to you to tell you terrible stories about terrible people. Someone usually dies. It's not
Sometimes
always murder.
not terrible.
We've never had a good death.
We had that girl who died and then Carl Tanzler mummified her body, but she didn't die maliciously.
No, but I mean, she still died and it was still pretty terrible because she was sick.
Yes.
But yeah. So, I mean, we haven't had a happy death. So
I don't know if there's a lot of happy deaths.
No. I mean, there's been some happy deaths. You know what? I'm going to find one. I'm going to find a really death that makes me, it's going to make me happy, and I'm going to share it with him. But that's not this story.
I really enjoyed the one where the women mobbed the guy. And I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. That's a happy death.
Akuyadov was definitely.
But he still died in a terrible way.
He died. I think I just felt zero sympathy for him. Was the problem.
Yeah.
And it was surprising because you usually try to find sympathy for people and you're just like, nah, it's okay.
No, fuck this dude. Seriously. Okay, so yeah, hope you're well. I'm well. We're just gonna hop into this. Well. All right, so on October 26, 2009, the body of a 35-year-old woman was found in a gravel pit on the outskirts of Prince George, British Columbia. Yeah, we're just diving right into this.
Canadian.
Yeah, it's Canadian. Autopsies report showed that she had cuts and bruises on her hands and arms and knees, which indicated that she tried to fight off her attacker.
Good for her.
But at some point during the struggle, she was hit on the head 2 times, knocked unconscious, and sexually assaulted.
No.
Reports also showed that she was high on cocaine when she died. It is believed that she bled out to death. But they aren't very sure. They just didn't find that much blood, but the animals had gotten to her body a little bit. So, I mean, the animals could have gotten to her and then she might have bled out from that. Or it was possible that she maybe had been stabbed. I
wonder if you bleed out faster as well from does cocaine do anything to your blood? I wonder. I just know it's on drugs, but I don't actually know if it's blood or anything.
I have no idea.
We'll just try some and then we'll stab ourselves.
Yeah. Well,
We'll have a test subject. We'll get Nick. We'll stab him. Yeah. We'll take some cocaine, stab ourselves. Yeah. So we'll see.
We'll see who bleeds faster. Sounds like a great Friday night. Okay. So they were able to identify the body as Jill Stuchenko. Jill was the mother of 5, a known drug addict, and a sex worker who had gone missing earlier that month. But because she was kind of transient a little, they couldn't really pin down when she was last seen. But she had been reported missing. I think it was October 22nd, which was 4 days before. But she was originally not seen since October 9th. Ooh. So yeah, unfortunately the police didn't have any leads and the case goes cold. Although one of Jill's friends that the police one of Jill's friends stated that the police didn't investigate too hard because they didn't care about Jill because she was a sex worker.
Yeah, that's probably true.
That's a general theme when it comes to police and sex workers, where they're just
probably John or probably something else.
Risky lifestyle, blah, blah, blah.
Even though it's being a human being shouldn't be a risky lifestyle. It is the oldest profession.
Yes.
Yeah.
And okay, I can't even get it. That's a whole rant with me. Okay, so on October 9th, 2010, the body of another woman is found in a park in Prince George. Her body was already badly decomposed. Her upper body was almost a skeleton. Her head was barely attached at the spine. Autopsy reports showed that she had multiple head wounds. She had been stabbed in the back and the right shoulder by a small object. She had been sexually assaulted, and her voice box had been pierced. I read a few articles that suggested that her throat had been stomped on. But I'm not 100% certain on that. But it was just basically there was a lot of throat damage, and a couple stab wounds, and then the head wound as well.
So there was a lot of
Yeah, it's violent.
Yeah,
like,
it's very violent to the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Urine analysis showed that she was high on cocaine at the time of her death. And later they were able to identify the body as Cynthia Maas, a 35-year-old sex worker who was also First Nations. And because her body was found near the Highway of Tears, while the police were investigating, nothing sort of came up, and a lot of people criticized them because they felt like the police were just disregarding this as another First Nations like sex worker. Like she's already gonna like get a hit for being a sex worker. They're not gonna care there. Then she's First Nations, so it's just like a lot of publicity going on. And
they were here first, guys.
Yeah,
just saying.
they were. That's yes.
Yeah, like. Oh my god!
And then we were like, "Hey, never mind. That's a whole another fucking rant."
Anyways,
on November 27th, so the following month, a rookie RCMP officer, Constable Aaron Keller, is on duty doing his normal police job when he sees a 2004 GMC pickup truck pull out onto the highway from a remote logging road. The truck starts to speed away, and Aaron's spidey senses start going off because it's 10 o'clock at night. It's wintertime. It's weird. Anybody would be on the highway at all, let alone like driving out of this like back alley road. So he turns his lights on, pulls the truck over for a routine traffic stop, and he calls in a buddy. He's always like, "Hey, come on over." So the other police officer shows up. The two of them walk up to the truck, and inside they find a man with blood smears all over his face and chin, all over his legs, and then a pool of blood on the driver's mat. And they're like, "Hey, dude, you okay? Is this your blood?
This is totally my own. I killed a deer."
Yeah. So he's just like, "Hey man, I just got finished clubbing a deer out in the forest, because I'm a redneck and that's what we do for fun." And that is a direct quote.
I mean,
yeah, he clubbed a deer. That's okay. So,
that's better than killing someone. So.
Anyway, yeah, I guess if
you're gonna come up with a story, you want it's okay to still seem like an asshole, but you want to be like, how to explain away his blood? Yeah, it's animals.
It's animals. Because
ritual sacrifice.
So the cops are like, that's weird, and they decide to search the truck.
Okay,
and
good.
Inside they find a multi-tool, like a Swiss Army knife, and a wrench covered in blood. And he's always like, "Yeah, that's the wrench that I used to like beat in that deer." They also find a child's monkey backpack and a wallet that contains the ID of the name Loren Leslie. And Aaron Keller's like, "This dude is fucking lying."
Yeah.
So they arrest the guy under the Canadian Wildlife Act because you can't just go around clubbing deers.
No,
and shit.
You usually use an arrow.
And he didn't even have like the deer carcass in the truck.
No.
So it's like you can
usually hunters.
Yeah, you usually take the deer with you. So they arrest him.
You usually shoot them, I think, too, not unnecessarily extended.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot to club a deer.
Yeah.
You have to like catch it. That's some agile shit. So they arrest him, obviously. And they call in a conservation officer with animal tracking skills. And they're like, so they can retrace the steps and like go get the deer.
Yeah.
Like,
if he's telling the truth.
Yeah, he has to. Yeah, you got to back up his story. So unfortunately for the dickbag in the truck, but fortunately for everybody else, it was a snowy night and his truck left tracks.
Good.
So they're able to trace the steps all the way back into the forest where they discover the body of 15-year-old Loren Leslie. She had taken several blows to the head, had multiple punctured wounds on the throat, wounds on the throat. So the man that they arrested was 20-year-old Cody Legebokoff.
Is that like what kind of last name is that?
I don't know. It's like, it sounds Russian to me. And he looked a little.
Yeah, Russian would make sense.
Russian.
I always expect you to be able to pronounce any French last names.
It's not. No, it's not French. It's It's Legebokoff.
Probably.
Legebokoff.
Yeah.
Okay,
Russian.
anyways.
Gone.
Yeah. Because the cough is like Abakov. I don't know. It just sounds like Ukrainian, like who knows. So on paper, Cody was like a pretty good kid. He got decent grades. He was popular in school. He had a good job. He played hockey. In his free time,
he killed lots of women.
Yeah, in his free time, he killed lots of women, which is not what makes him a good guy. But it's like his friends were all like, "Oh, we never would have thought he would be like this. Like he's so nice." And it's just like, yeah, that's what everybody fucking says. Yeah. He used to apparently spend a lot of times on chat site and used to use one called Nexopia. I've never heard of this, but apparently it was super popular in Canada. And I was like, I've never heard of it.
I've heard of Neopets.
Yeah, that's also what I thought of when was Neopets. So that's actually where he had met little Loren Leslie. When he lured her out for the night after spending weeks talking to her online. So I thought this would hit home with you a little bit because
I definitely met strangers.
Yeah, because
only one, but still
we've talked about the men that we met offline. I mean, you married your husband.
I did. I did technically meet him online.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when the police questioned Cody, at first he's like, "Oh, I just found her body there. After I killed the deer."
And somehow we also talked to each other online, and we have a previous.
Well, no,
history.
he didn't admit to that at first.
I know.
So he was like, "Oh, I just found her body there. I killed that deer, and then as I was walking back to the truck, I found her body, and I was like, oh, I better go back to the truck and go get help." And they were like,
"Why did you grab her
There
stuff?"
was no deer.
Yeah.
And Cody's like, "Okay, yeah. Or you know what? I do know this girl. We've been talking online for a few weeks, but I didn't kill her."
Oh, she killed herself?
Then he goes on to tell the story about how he had met up with Loren and the two got drunk and they got high and they went here and there and then they were having sex. And then all of a sudden, after they finished having sex in the back of his car in the forest, Loren got all crazy and she started hitting herself over the head with the pipe and she tried to cut her own wrist and she started to stab herself in the throat. And he said that he was too stunned at first to give her first aid, but he did manage to drag her body 15 feet the other direction before giving up and then just getting in his truck and driving off.
Sure.
And it's just like, what? What?
You could have thought of a better.
This is the fucking story that you decided to give. Well, so obviously the police like don't believe him, but they do like their good cop, bad cop thing for a while, and then eventually he admits to like hitting Loren in the head. Okay, now I remember what I was gonna say. So. In the courts, when they were doing the trial and stuff like that, they had somebody come and testify and say like, while she could have hit herself in the head and while she could have slit her own wrist and while she could have stabbed herself in the throat, she wouldn't have done all three of those things.
Only one.
Because like it's a lot. Like you have to be in a certain place to like stab yourself in the throat to like kill yourself. You have to like have a certain mindset. And like, there's just no way that she would have done all of this stuff. And so they actually had like an expert come on and be like, yeah, it's impossible for her to have done this, and this. But I just thought that was interesting. So the police didn't believe him. He finally admits to hitting Loren in the head.
Good.
He like keeps saying like, I didn't kill her. And it's like, yes, you fucking did. Like, if you're going to admit that you hit her over the head, and if you're going to admit to everything else, like, why can you not just, like, admit to the fact that you fucking killed her? Like,
he wants to be seen as a good person.
I don't,
still.
like, and it's sort of like, that's the problem with, like, that's why I love your stories, because they just fucking, when they get caught, they admit it.
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, yeah, you got me. Red-handed, I'm caught.
Okay.
Not this fucking guy. So they have him in custody. And now
it's a narcissism that you think you can get away with it. Like you think you're smart enough to get away with it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even, it's like, I don't even think that he thought that he'd be able to get away with it because he admitted to literally everything. I think it's just like he didn't want to admit to the fact that he killed a young girl.
How young was she?
She was 15. But I mean, you admitted to having sex with her.
Yeah.
So you're a rapist. Like, well, not a rapist. Well, technically,
it is a rapist
because he's 20.
Yeah, because 16 is the age of consent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I don't know why he wouldn't just admit to murdering this girl. Maybe because like then he would have gotten a different sentence, but whatever.
Usually you get a lenient sentence if you admit to what you did. Always admit to what you did.
Yeah, just tell the truth.
Yes.
So they have him in custody, and now they have his DNA and his fingerprints. And so they go to run those, and it's like boop, boop, boop. Positive matches on the 2 victims before, Jill and Cynthia. And because they were able to pull DNA off the fingernails, they had his semen and all of that other stuff. So when they go to his house and they search his house, they end up finding the blood of a 3rd woman, 23-year-old Natasha Montgomery. Natasha had gone missing in September. Her body was never found. They still haven't found it. He did admit to... Yeah, okay, hold on. She was a known drug user and another sex worker. Cody originally denied ever knowing or killing any of the 3 women. And it's like, but your fucking DNA is all over the shit. And her DNA is in your house. How do you explain that? And so he was just like maintaining his innocence. And then he started saying that a drug dealer and his 2 accomplices of the drug dealer, who he couldn't know their names, he only knew them as X, Y, and Z, that they had killed the 3 women. And that he was just like an innocent bystander of everything, which the jury obviously didn't fucking believe.
No.
And he was convicted on 4 counts of first-degree murder on September 11th, 2014, and he still rots in jail.
Good. Oh my God.
Yes. So that is that's my story. That's my story of Cody Legebokoff. Legebokoff.
I like it. I like it. It was a good story, and I appreciate the fact that he is still in jail.
Yep.
And it just it was just luck that they caught him.
No, it really was.
It wasn't like really good. Like, yeah, you know what? The people who did stop, the police officers that stopped him, were smart enough to keep going. Because you always remember that Jeffrey Dahmer story of like a cop who let.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
and like he was a new cop too. It was just like
so
he just
fucking
like,
good.
It didn't feel right to him.
Yeah.
He was like, something's a little
good
off
for him.
And it's like, thank you, because who knows if they would have ever found that missing 15-year-old girl. You know what I mean? Like,
or if they did, they never would have figured out who killed her.
No.
So and stopped him in his tracks, because he definitely would have killed way more people.
He would have. He
would have been a serial killer for sure.
And like apparently, like, so what he was doing was like he was hiring like these sex workers because he was addicted to cocaine, and he was using the sex workers as a way to get the cocaine, which is why everybody like
had cocaine in their system. But then he kind of So it wasn't like because he killed this 15-year-old girl that he got caught.
No, because he was killing, and it was like. The Loren was the only one that was sort of like not like the others. And it's very possible that maybe there's a whole lot more.
And he is young though.
Yeah, he is pretty young. But I thought it was really interesting that the 3 women that he killed before were all 35 years old.
Yeah.
And they all kind of looked alike. Loren was like, the 3 women were all beautiful. They had dark hair. And then Loren was like 15, blonde hair, blue eyes, like completely different. And he met her like on a fucking chat.
Yeah.
Like, it was really,
and didn't have cocaine probably either.
No.
So that's really confusing, just, why he chose her. But good for that cop.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah.
Constable Aaron Keller, you are MVP.
Hopefully you're still policing.
I would imagine so. It's only been 9
Hopefully
years.
you have a raise.
Yeah. Hopefully you've gotten a raise and you're no longer a rookie. I hope you're a captain.
Chief? Captain. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what's higher than constable. Just hope you're a captain.
Hope you're
in management somewhere.
So my story is from around the world to North Korea.
Yeah, North Korea.
Which means that there's not that much information.
It also means that next week Angela is going to apologize to us for all of her Korean stereotyping that she's going to
I'm totally going to talk about. And then it's going to be like... Although I don't
just
know
apologize
any.
for you now, so you don't.
I don't actually know any North Korean stereotypes. except the fact that they're very prejudiced against, and that's the only thing I know about them. So
All right,
let's
well,
go.
let's do it. I'm
And
excited.
I'm assuming a really shitty place to live in if you're a poor person. But it's anywhere.
I mean, anywhere is
Yeah.
a shitty place to live if you're a poor person.
So Woo In-hee was born in Kaesong, a city in the southern part of North Korea.
Okay, so
Because-
South North Korea.
In North Korea.
Yeah.
In southern North,
It
yeah.
was South
So
Korea.
because of her being born in North Korea, there isn't a date of when she was born.
Oh, they don't keep records?
They just didn't. They're not going to release any of that information
Oh, okay.
she is wiped from history.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
but just in general, do keep those records?
I think
do they,
for presidents, or sorry, not presidents, supreme leaders, they do. Some people will have it. Some people
more like
will
your
know
family,
yourself. Yeah.
like your family
but because
keeps
she's
records?
completely
Yeah, yeah.
wiped, she doesn't.
Yeah.
But because I'm gonna estimate she was born around in the late 1930s to 1940s.
Okay.
And that's because she had led an exemplary life during the Korean War, and the Korean War happened during the 50s to 53.
Okay.
So
She was
I'm like,
probably 20-ish during that time.
I'm gonna guess like teens even,
Yeah.
and even like because that's when she was like learning how to dance and stuff. So
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
yeah. So at least
That's fair.
40s, at
Yeah.
least. So she learned to dance and was taken to Pyongyang, which is the capital of North Korea, where she started her acting career. In-hee had a oval-shaped face, and a slender but curvy body, which was an embodiment of traditional, like Korean beauty standards. So she was.
She was or
She
wasn't?
was.
Okay.
So she was called the most beautiful woman in North Korea. After just 1 year in Pyongyang, In-hee was given the main part in The Tale of Cheongyang, which catapulted her stardom.
Yeah.
So right after that, dozens of successful films later came out.
As it happens.
And she was given the prestigious title of People's Actress. Like she was the actress. Her career spanned from her youth to an advanced age. And her
What's an advanced age?
like 40s.
Okay.
Yeah. Like that is though, right?
Yeah, and it is for like
Any Hollywood type.
Hollywood women.
Yeah,
you know
it
what I mean.
is.
Like you get your 20s.
20s
maybe
is like
you get your 30s if you took good care of your skin and your
and then
body.
40s is an advanced age.
Yeah. Advanced age. Oh man.
So her career achievements and beauty caught the personal interest and attention of then Supreme Leader Kim Jong-il, who is the father of Kim Jong-un. So
Okay.
he's
So the father.
He's dead now.
And he was an asshole, but he was. Sorry, let's backtrack. He's not a good person, or people don't really love him. But
North Korea,
the son. But was the father?
He was also not a good person.
Yeah, but who's worse? I've heard something where it's like
The thing is that like they think that Kim Jong-il is who the famine I talked about in the first episode, it was under him,
Okay.
his leadership. The thing is that they're thinking that Kim Jong-un is trying too hard to try to become his grandfather and his father, because he has a lot to live up to.
Yep.
And so none of like dictators in general usually aren't the best people.
No.
As a gesture of confidence,
Okay.
she was given the very extraordinary permission to travel abroad to Czechoslovakia to study acting, which is like a big deal because
Yeah.
that means being able
You
to
get to
leave North
leave.
Korea.
And no one gets to leave.
And In-hee's career flourished during the 1960s to 1970s, which I'm assuming is in her 20s and 30s, in my guesstimation of her being born in the 40s.
Yeah.
After returning from Czechoslovakia, In-hee married Yoo Ho-sun, the most gifted director in the country. And like the most gifted director,
Yeah.
those are all titles given to these people
Yeah.
from the capital, I'm assuming. The couple had 3 sons together, and In-hee had several extramarital affairs that would later come to destroy her reputation and career.
Well, I mean,
She stands up for herself,
She might
though.
be like super beautiful, but at the end of the day, she's still a woman
Mm-hmm.
who still has to get a job. And unfortunately, when it comes to acting, you usually have to sleep around.
Yeah,
It's
maybe
unfortunate.
not so much. I don't know. I'm not in the industry,
Yeah.
but maybe I'm hoping it's a lot better.
There's
now,
a reason why we have a
but
Me Too movement.
there's a
That's
reason
all.
why we call it the casting couch.
Yeah.
So
There's a reason.
I'm actually going to talk about a death that has to do with that though in
Ooh,
Korea.
interesting.
So I have
Not
it,
today?
like, not today.
Okay.
So her first affair was a member of the camera crew, and the others that followed were members in the film industry, which aligns with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the 1970s, the rumors of her affair spread among her colleagues who would confront her about them. They accused her of adultery, but she was defiant and pointed out that her accusers were the same men who begun affairs with her
Yeah.
and were also adulterers themselves.
Yeah.
But you know what? They had a penis. So
Yeah. So they're like believed. And it's like, it is one of those things where it's just like,
it doesn't destroy them.
Yeah.
It destroys her.
It's always the
So
woman.
unsurprisingly, she was ruined and
Yeah.
stripped of her title of People's Actress.
oh, that sucks.
She was then given a job, like she went from lead actress to the job of tending to the boiler of the film studio for a year, which is a dangerous job and in 12-hour shifts.
Oh my gosh.
So she went from like this
she
high.
fell far.
Yeah. So in 1978, in 1979.
And I bet you the sex wasn't even that good. That's like the disappointing part.
Well, even if it was, she was probably doing it to get the roles. Like she really needed.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
just like now her whole life
Maybe.
is ruined for having these like affairs, and I bet you the sex wasn't even good.
Well, in 1979,
Yeah.
she was suddenly allowed to return to acting and was
Oh.
given some lead roles.
Oh, sounds like she picked her power pussy back
She
up.
did. The return to the spotlight just happened to align with the time that In-hee started an affair with Kim Jong-Il.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you sleep with the king.
It is not known for certain when they began their courtship, but it happened sometime in the late 1970s, which makes sense. It is possible that he courted her for years
Yeah.
before her fall from grace, or that her ruin made it possible for him to initiate a relationship in exchange for allowing her to return to
See,
acting.
I think that he wanted her from the beginning, and she
Yes.
was like, no.
No.
And then she had these affairs. I bet you he had a hand in her takedown.
Yes.
And her punishment, and then he was probably like, you know what? I feel like she's been punished enough now. Let's bring her back.
Although
in.
I don't even know if he would manipulate the situation that much. This is prime leader. He can probably just be like, no, that's it. You're with me now. And then
Yeah.
what is she gonna say? No, and then her entire family dies. So
yeah,
So I'm not really.
yeah.
So because I had read like none of the articles are like really verified.
Yeah.
It's obviously, but there was one where there was a girl who said no to him and he had her killed. There was another one who,
It's all hearsay.
yeah,
Allegedly.
it's all allegedly hearsay, but can you really get that much information out
Yeah.
of this kind of country?
No, you really can't.
Kim had a fellow actor follow her around and reported back to him about her activities. So he
yeah.
had like a spy, which also makes sense. The relationship was top secret and was being kept from everyone, including her husband, Yu. So she wasn't allowed to tell anyone about
Whoa.
this. This was high secrecy
Yeah.
stuff. Even though everyone knows that all of them have fucking mistresses, no one's allowed to talk about it.
No, you can't talk about it.
Yeah.
We just know about it.
So after their affair, and he fell in love with a young Cho Sonin, which is an ethnically Korean person who has permanent residency status in Japan or became a Japanese citizen.
Okay.
So they have a specific word for it.
Okay.
And he had come back to North Korea to work at a radio station. So she fell in love with him, and it sounds like it was after the affair with Kim Jong-il was over.
Yeah.
He overcame her initial reluctance because she didn't want to get into a relationship with him
Wow.
because obviously, yeah.
Relationships aren't really working out so much for her.
No, and they started to meet in private, and she was still married at this point. They would meet
Man.
because that's why she had to keep it all private. Because
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they would meet and drive around for hours in the man's Mercedes, which kind of shows that he was a man of means. I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
He had money. He
Yeah.
was going to be able to take care of her. Maybe he didn't have as much money or power
I don't even
as
think-
as Kim
Jong-il.
Kim Jong-il.
Oh, sorry, Kim
Is it
Jong-il.
Il?
Yeah,
Kim
Il.
Jong-il. But he had a Mercedes. He had a Benz.
But I mean, it doesn't really. If she really wanted someone of power, she would have gone with Kim Jong-il immediately instead of making him work.
No,
for
she
it.
didn't. It was just more. I was just making a joke. I don't know. She didn't obviously want to be with him. Like he was probably real scary.
Yes.
She was probably just doing what she needed to do so that she wouldn't die.
Well, it won't last long.
Oh, come on.
In the winter of 1980, after a car ride date, they were found in a car suffering from carbon monoxide poisoning.
Oh, shit.
Caused by the engine left running with the windows shut to keep the cold out. I wonder what they were doing in the car. That they would have left the heater on.
Oh, my gosh.
And then not had it stalled. I wonder what they were doing.
In a garage?
No, just like out. Like they were out for a drive and then like they left the car on because it's cold.
Yeah,
but they closed all the windows.
Yeah, but I mean,
this is 1980s.
How did it get in? That is okay.
Yeah. So, but I wonder what they were doing.
Handprint on the window.
Yep. The man died, and In-hee had to spend 2 weeks in the hospital recovering. While being interrogated over the death, like about what happened, In-hee mentioned Kim Jong-il. This obviously doesn't sit well with him because she was supposed to fucking keep her mouth shut, and you know that's the whole thing. And her boyfriend is not the only person who dies in my story.
Oh gosh.
In 1981, In-hee was told she was free to go. She was instead taken to Kangwon Military Academy shooting grounds just north of Pyongyang. She was tied to a post and shot as 6,000 people, including her husband, were watching.
What?
To prove a point that you don't, if he tells you not to say anything, you don't say anything.
Holy shit.
He makes his
He didn't
points.
even like
he was like, you're free to go, to die. That was it.
It was just like, holy crap. And then like 6,000 people, like for everybody else to have to watch. It's just like, well, you fuck this girl.
But she talked. He's a supreme leader.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants.
That is extreme.
It is.
I mean, I thought he was going to, like, obviously he's going to kill her. I thought he would, like, do it privately.
No.
I didn't think he would fucking put it up on display for everyone else to see.
It's because betraying Kim Jong-il is punishable by death in North Korea.
Clearly.
But he wants to enforce that.
Yeah.
And he wants to make sure that you know
Yeah.
that if he tells you something, he fucking means it.
Yeah.
Just terrifying. Kim Jong-il also nullified Woo and In-hee's marriage and forced Woo to finish the movie he had been working on with his wife called Unsung Heroes. Like he had been working on this movie with his wife, who was, I think, starring in it or was in the movie, and he made him finish the movie, even though he just watched his wife get shot and die.
Yeah, that's fucking barbaric.
Woo In-hee's name and image were purged from magazines and film catalogs.
Okay, so like, why would he make him finish the movie if he's then gonna be like, but now we're gonna erase her from history? Like, why not just not even make the movie? Did he wanted to see the movie?
Maybe.
That is weird. Okay.
She was edited out of films that she performed in.
Yeah.
Rendering their plots incomprehensible because how the hell are you, like, if you get rid of a main character, you're not going to know what happens in the movie afterwards. Yes.
Oh my God.
All 6,000 people who were present at her execution were told not to talk about what they'd seen, but the incident is widely known in North Korea because, you know, people still talk.
You can't kill 6,000 people.
Well, you can.
You can.
But I'm pretty sure there were people there that he would prefer not to have to kill if he didn't have to.
Yeah.
There's a South Korean miniseries that came out in 1998 called Until the Azalea Blooms that is about her life, which I desperately have been looking for. I can't find it. And my Korean isn't good enough for me to figure it out, but I thought, like, if I just typed in the title in Korean on Google, I'd be able to figure it out. But
I don't know. You'd have to.
Actors on the film were threatened for their lives, and even a threat of a bombing at the KBS studios happened, which is the Korean Broadcasting Corporation, who was airing the series, which makes sense because they're like,
no, you can't. We don't want this name ever spoken.
The series was said to have been shown a frank depiction of life in North Korea and inequality that prevails between ordinary North Koreans and the power-holding elite.
Jesus, I really want to know what she said to the police officers about Kim.
I don't even know if she just said his name.
Yeah,
and that was
like,
enough.
I want to know. I just want to know what she said to like, because this is extreme.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not extreme. Maybe I think it's extreme, but in like over there, this is like, you know, a slap on the wrist
I have
type
two
situation.
incidents.
Okay.
So, first of all, South Korean dramas are obviously very much banned in North Korea, but there's a black market for it.
Yeah.
There was lesser known publications that I'd never heard of, might be larger somewhere else, that mentioned as recent as 2015 that 5 university students were caught watching the miniseries and were sent to prison camps, and 3 women were executed for distributing the series.
Wow.
Seems very
so
harsh.
it's just like,
That's
but
it.
I'm like, is it over like this one girl and like, she's like, what the fuck did
And
she
2015, I think Kim Jong-Il was dead by then, but I'm not sure. I don't know when he died.
Yeah, so but it's like, obviously there's still stuff going on now, but like to completely wipe her out, like I can't see it being like a situation where like, what the fuck did she say? I want to know.
But then I had also read a story about like some like mistress that he had been sleeping with, and then like she left him, but and then also got like sick or something, and she was in a coma. So she was like on respirators or something. So she was about to die. He forced them to keep her alive long enough to kill her, because he was just mad. It was like, there's lots of stories about like him being very vindictive. There's lots of families who talk about him just killing you because he doesn't like it.
Wow.
So I don't know if this is like an everyday thing, but it seemed so excessive and kind of like, I never heard something so ridiculous. Like,
it's
so
crazy. Like that is a tantrum.
Yeah.
That is a tantrum. That is what happens. Like, and you know what? It's not even a white man. That's just what happens with men in power and privilege.
Money, privileged, and power.
Yeah, and like extreme, because it's not like he is control of a little town or
it's
like
an entire
whatever.
country.
He has a fucking entire country.
Millions of people that he controls.
Like, that worship him.
They have to.
Yeah. They have to. That is intense.
That's my story.
Thanks for telling me that. That was really, I've never heard that. I am so fascinated. I want to know so much more.
I know. Like, I wish there was, there's never more information.
Because when it comes to like people who, like, when it comes to stuff like that, when it comes to like wiping someone completely out of history and all this different stuff, it's just like, what did they do? What was their crime?
Extreme? Yeah.
Because like there's some people that do some fucked up shit, and like
it didn't seem like she did anything.
Yeah.
Even if she just said
she just had she had an affair.
Maybe she was pregnant. No, she wouldn't be pregnant. I don't know.
Maybe she was.
Maybe she was. Maybe she had a love child with him. Who knows?
Maybe she wasn't supposed to be sleeping with somebody else.
Maybe that's true. Like after he was supposed to be her last affair.
Maybe he said that the affair was over, but really it wasn't, and he was just really upset that she was getting dick from 3 different dudes.
Yeah,
there was her husband, the other guy, and Kim. So that was a story.
And she was very brave to do all of this in a country that she should not have been allowed to do any of those things. So
no, the fact that she got to leave, I mean, it's cool, but she got to
for a little bit,
and she got to be an actress. I bet you the highs were probably real high. Those lows were low. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this episode. This one was a quickie. Yeah.
Quickie cookie.
If you guys have any questions, comments, you want to send us an email, you want to tell us a story that you'd be interested in, even if you just wanted to like give us a country, you're just fascinated by that country and you want to know more about there.
You're gonna give us like a really hard country where I can't pronounce any, like Sweden, and I'll be like,
Sweden wouldn't be so bad.
I can't even say names of the IKEA furniture.
Give it a go. You can email us at peoplekeepdying@gmail.com. You can find us on most social medias at peoplekeepdying. people keep dying on the social medias.
Yeah, and then you can rate us and review us and show us some love and whatever.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think, your favorite parts.
And
we hope that you guys are live next week.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Bye.